Are you still decorating using modern farmhouse style, or you're drowning in all sad beige color palettes? Well, if so, you might want to rethink your approach. Some of the most popular interior design trends are now considered to be outdated by many interior designers. Today, we're diving into the 5 interior design trends that are going out of style in 2025 and what you should do instead. My name's Carrie, a self-taught designer and founder of the blog Penny Modern, and today I have done my homework and I'm bringing you insights from top publications like Vogue and Home and Gardens, as well as designers like Shay McGee. And make sure you stick around until the end because I am sharing with you the one surprising interior design style that's on its way in 2025 that may just shock you. But let's get started with one of the most iconic interior design styles we've been seeing, especially in luxury homes from the past decade right now. This design style rose to prominence during the Marie Kondo craze, where everybody was getting rid of all their clutter and all traces of objects on all surfaces of their home. And this was especially true when we were looking at luxury designer homes, where you saw all these clean lines and very neutral color palettes, and really just hardly anything in the room, tons of open space. So what design am I talking about? It would be extreme minimalism. Yes, that design style is actually going to be coming out of style in 2025. At first, minimalism was definitely a cure to the chaos of modern life. So you would have all this chaos outside, and then you would come home and everything would feel very calm and you'd feel very in control because you had really hardly anything in your house. But there's a downside to this minimalistic approach to your home, and that's why it's becoming out of style. It's because it can also lean into being very stark, very sterile, and it can really make your whole home lack any personality or even any remnant of your own personal taste. People are just tired of their home feeling kind of lifeless. And there's definitely this overall mega trend towards warmth, which we're seeing in colors as well as natural materials. And there's also people just want their house to feel very inviting, cozy, and welcoming. Another common downside to that minimalistic home, that at least extreme minimalism, is where do you put all your stuff? And it just doesn't really jive with real life, right? We have kids, we have parents, we put our objects down. It's really hard to keep your home extremely clutter-free unless you have a staff, right, helping you, which I don't. And that is another downside of the minimalism, is just where do you put your stuff that you're using on a day-to-day basis. What's the solution here? What could you do instead? Well, one thing that you could do if you still like minimalism, you can try warm minimalism, which is basically minimalism but warmed up and adding more personality. So you can use more earth tones and color palette like a terracotta or a green, those earthy colors. You can also have more natural materials. You can also have a lot of handmade or vintage items that have some imperfections. Those are some ideas to really warm up, and you can also add personality to your space by displaying a few items from your collections and having some styling of different objects and decor. That way your home isn't completely stark and devoid of any personal items. If you already have a very minimalistic home and you want to add that warm minimalism feel, you can use items that add a lot of texture or a lot of natural materials. If you have a metallic sleek coffee table, you could replace it with something that is a more natural wood and you can see that wood grains. Or you can add some textures, something like a very textured throw pillow, textured throw blankets, add those into your furniture, and that's an easy, affordable way to warm up your room. Oh, and if it's your first time watching one of my videos, my name's Carrie. I'm a designer and founder of the blog Penny Modern, and we've been bringing you affordable modern home decor since 2019. So make sure you hit subscribe so you don't miss my next video, which is definitely gonna be about interior design trends and home decor hacks. Now let's move to the other end of the spectrum, and that would be excessive maximalism. So if you love the look of bold colors, clashing colors, bright patterns, as well as just having tons of personality and things you love in your home, you might have tried this trend of maximalism, which is obviously a blend of all those different textures, shapes, and colors. Maximalism is definitely a celebration of your personality, and it really helps you determine your individuality and just things that really spark joy for you, and having those in your home for you and your visitors to look at all the time. But maximalism can actually go too far, and it can make your house feel chaotic, cluttered, as well as it can make the room feel smaller if there's just too much stuff in it. Business Insider explains, while maximalism is a celebration of bold self-expression, there is a fine line between curated and cluttered. In 2025, we are definitely seeing a trend towards more of a careful curation in interior design versus having a lot of clutter. And so that's why this is on our list of one of those interior design styles that's going to be going out in 2025. And here is another downside of this crazy maximalism trend. It can be really hard to pull off. It can be very expensive, as well as very time consuming. So it is a real art form to get a lot of different patterns to go together in a room. And it also can just take a lot of time to find the things that go together. And it also can be very expensive because some of these items that are really kind of these wow factors can be very costly sometimes. And then if you buy this costly item and you get it into your room and it doesn't exactly go together, it also can feel very disjointed. What is an alternative to maximalism if you still want to express your personality and you still love bright colors? You can try an eclectic style. So eclecticism is something where you can pull together different design styles, which is definitely on trend for 2025, and create a curated room of objects that you've found or from places that you've traveled. And that way you can have those bright colors and really cool pieces and vintage items that you love, but you kind of dial it back just a little bit. Instead of filling a wall with all these different art pieces that are all these different colors and frames, you might just want to do a gallery wall that has similar style frames and have your different art pieces in there as well. So that is one idea, as well as if you have some bookshelves that you're creating a really cool shelfie with, instead of having lots of little small trinkets, try having larger objects and fewer of them, and that's going to create more impact and less clutter. You can also do this in your home by having, for example, if you love really flashy, bold patterns, maybe you get a rug that's a statement rug that has a crazy pattern, but you dial back the patterns in the rest of the room, or you get a crazy bold pattern that you love of wallpaper, and I love the peel and stick kind, and put that in a powder room and try that out. Let me know what kind of design style that you love down in the comments below, and remember to hit that like button too. Now, let's talk about a design style that's become a little bit of a punchline in recent years, and that is the sad beige trend. This trend has dominated interiors for a number of years, and it's a very monochromatic look with very similar shades of beige, taupe, and grayish used throughout the entire room. Using beige to decorate your space was probably kind of a reaction to everything being gray previously. People really wanted to warm up their space. And it's supposed to be giving you a calm and very serene feeling room, but let's face it, it could end up making you feel a little bit sad. Why did the sad beige design style even get very popular? First of all, it was very easy to implement. You could easily paint your walls beige, get beige furniture, have some grayish in there, and it just was easy to do, and it also didn't require a ton of creativity in order to make your room look that way. Plus, with a high interest in minimalism, having this sad beige trend was a very natural fit with a minimalist look to your room. It also was just everywhere in terms of influencers that you see on places like Instagram or TikTok, or also just in Pinterest boards and things like that. Here's one of the downsides of that beige on beige design style. It really just lacks personality, and Rent Cafe states that homes in 2025 are moving towards self-expression, with bold colors and statement decor pieces that are going to take center stage. I really think people are kind of waking up to the fact that although neutrals and having an all neutral room can feel really calming, it also can feel really boring. What is the alternative to having an all beige room? Enter saturated earth tones. You can actually use earth tone colors much like a neutral, and these are colors such as terracotta, olive green, or even a rich brown like the pillow I have here that I really love. It's a faux leather pillow. You can mix these earth tones with your beige colors as well as with cream, and that way you're going to get a lot more richness and depth to your space without completely overwhelming it. If you want some quick and easy ways to liven up your space, if you have an all neutral or all beige space, you can do things like swapping out your throw pillows or your throw blankets for something that's more like an earth tone, or you could get a rug that's in earth tones that has a really cool pattern to it, maybe a vintage inspired rug. And then you also could get a ceramic vase or a ceramic planter that has some of those earth tones like the terracotta or the earthy green. These little touches can definitely liven up an all neutral space. But I want to know down in the comments below what you think about earth tones and how popular they're becoming this year. Is it something you love or something you hate? Let me know down in the comments below. If you're thinking about doing a room makeover or even just a major renovation, I have a great free gift for you. I have a room makeover planner and checklist, and this is going to help you plan your project. It's going to help you decide what you want to keep, what you want to get, help you build a budget, even plan a little bit of a layout. And you can download this for free down at pennymodern.com/freebies, and I'm going to link that down in the description. Now let's talk about a design style that has been extremely popular over the last decade. And it was made popular by beloved HGTV shows like Fixer Upper and Joanna Gaines, and that is modern farmhouse. Modern farmhouse is a style that really feels approachable as well as cozy because it has things like shiplap walls that add texture. It has barn doors that give your home character, and it also has these rustic finishes and rustic kind of antique looking decor items. For a while, it seemed like modern farmhouse was absolutely everywhere. And the thing is that modern farmhouse has become a victim of its own success. As interior designer Emily Henderson says, modern farmhouse has become so overdone, it's starting to lose its charm. And when you think about it, if you see the same shiplap accent wall as well as barn door on almost every home that you're seeing, it starts to look very cookie cutter and not very creative anymore, right? In addition, many people are starting to realize that having a completely top to bottom modern farmhouse home in the middle of a city may not make a lot of sense or fit with the surroundings of your area. What could you consider instead of doing modern farmhouse? Well, here we are. We're going to present to you organic modern. This design style has definitely become more and more popular over the years. Organic modern takes some of the best parts about modern farmhouse, such as rustic materials, as well as natural materials and that cozy vibe, and it pairs it with a more modern, sleek, sophisticated feeling and aesthetic. Picture a space with clean, modern lines, but instead of having a shiplap wall, you're having a plaster wall that looks more textured or maybe even lime washed. And instead of barn doors, you may have real wood panels that are just sleek and sophisticated and given a dark stain to give you a rich color, but it's in a more modern shape and it doesn't look like a barn door, they're sliding panels. If you have a ton of modern farmhouse decor in your home, don't worry, it is easy to transition. We can start small. You can take those rustic light fixtures and swap them out for a more sleek, modern pendant. Light fixtures and pendants are very easy to switch out. And if you have a lot of overly distressed furniture, you can actually refinish it and paint it and have a smooth finish, or replace it for different furniture that isn't distressed. And then you also could get something that's a real wood or real wood veneer and that has a rich wood color to it. And here's another tip. Organic Modern really does try to embrace those natural materials, so you can always bring in more plants into your space, and you can use either the real or the artificial plants to give your home a more soft and organic feel to it. Now let's talk about a design style that's all about self-expression. This style mixes global inspired patterns, rattan furniture, as well as macrame wall hangings to create a very cozy and eclectic room. If you guessed it, it's boho design style. That's what I'm talking about, and that's gonna be on its way out in 2025, believe it or not. If you've ever walked into a room that's filled with plants, colorful textiles, as well as layered rugs, chances are you are probably walking into a boho inspired room. For years, boho was celebrated as a very carefree and easy style that was very accessible because a lot of boho decor was widely available. But it's easy to cross the line from creative to chaotic when you're talking boho. Decor points out that the chaotic nature of a maximalist boho style is starting to be replaced by something that's more intentional as well as balanced. And boho style can lend itself to a more cluttered feel because you have to do a lot of layering and a lot of adding of different items. So you're layering rugs, you're having different patterns, you're having a lot of different textures to give you that boho vibe. And it also can mix a lot of different colors and patterns and just objects from different travels so you look like you're well traveled. So it can just feel like a cluttered mess sometimes. What could you consider instead of a boho design style? Well, I wanted to let you know you could say hello to Japandi. Japandi is the best of both two different worlds. It is the Japanese minimalism mixed with Scandinavian functionality. Unlike boho's more is more approach, Japandi has a less is more approach. Japandi focuses on clean lines, beautiful shapes, as well as embracing natural materials to give your space that warm, a little bit minimalist, but warm and cozy feel. How can you switch from a cluttered boho look to a more of a Japandi style? Step one would be decluttering and maybe not having as many objects and items on display. The other thing that you can do is instead of having a ton of different patterns in your room, swap out a couple of those for something that's maybe more of a solid color. And instead of layering your rugs, a lot of people have multiple different area cut rugs with different patterns or maybe a jute rug underneath. Instead of doing that, just have one rug that's a more of a high quality, more simple design rug. Lighting is also a key element of Japandi style. So instead of having those boho inspired string lights, swap those out for something that is more of a simple pendant or maybe a lantern that would go along with more of a Japandi style. And we all know that boho style is embracing things like wicker furniture, and Japandi, you could actually swap those out for something that's more like a natural wood or bamboo furniture. We know the boho design enthusiasts love their plants, and a lot of them are plant moms and dads, and you can still do that with Japandi because the Japandi style does embrace those natural elements. But instead of having a ton of potted plants like everywhere, maybe have a larger plant that's going to be more of a statement, like a fiddle-leaf fig or maybe a large palm. The other element of Japandi that you can embrace would be having that open and airy feel to your room. So you might want to scale back in terms of how much furniture you have in the room or how much decor, and use the idea of negative space, which just means you're gonna have some empty space in between pieces of furniture or in between your art pieces, and that way you're gonna have a more airy feeling to your room. If you are loving the idea of embracing Japandi, which is the best of both Japanese and Scandinavian style, hit that like button. Now it's time for that hot and trendy design style that I've been wanting to tell you guys about. But before we go there, make sure if you want to learn how to decorate your home like a pro on a budget you can actually afford, hit that subscribe button because that's what we're all about here at Penny Modern. Okay, so now we can get back to the design trend that I was going to tell you about, which is, drum roll please, Western Cowboy. Yes, you heard that right. Western Cowboy is a modern take on Americana, and it's definitely going to be hot and trendy for 2025. Why is this design style of Western Cowboy even gaining traction? According to Shay McGee of Studio McGee fame, Western Cowboy blends rustic country elements with natural materials and organic elements. It's an elevated design style that's going to give you these rustic Americana elements that are going to make your space feel very grounded as well as timeless. What does this Western Cowboy design style even look like? You can think of vintage leather chairs, reclaimed wood furniture, as well as earthy textiles like a cowhide or wool blankets. You can use warm tones like a chocolate or a terracotta, so those earthy colors, and you also could use artisan or handmade items like a ceramic pottery vase or bowl, as well as a woven basket. The Western Cowboy design style has a very nostalgic feel because it has that Americana element, so you could get some of those vintage inspired pieces or maybe even family heirlooms that you want to display in your home, and it's gonna give your home a homey as well as cozy vibe. Now that you know all the design styles that we're saying goodbye to in 2025, if you want to see what are the latest trends and get more information on the latest interior design trends coming in style in 2025, make sure you watch this video right here.